Hey everyone, welcome back to Ryan Repairs. In this video, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of this classic Airstream here. I am over at my family's house helping winterize this thing, and I figured now would be a pretty good time to cover pretty much everything interior and exterior of this trailer for anyone who's interested. So it's going to be a pretty thorough walkthrough. I'll include some chapters down below if you want to skip through and go ahead to different parts of the trailer. But I figure what I'd do is I'm going to start to the left of the door here, work my way around the outside, and then we'll work our way on the inside of the trailer. Now, a quick background on this trailer is it was bought in 1962 used by my grandfather, and it's been in the family since then. So that is 60 years going on now that it's been in my family. 3 generations have enjoyed this trailer. It's been all over the country. We've taken it up north to northern Michigan quite a lot, and it's spent quite a lot of time down in the southwest of the US and out in the various national parks out west as well, like Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, and places like that. So a lot of memories made in this trailer over the years, and a lot of cool experiences shared with it. So without further ado, we'll get started. And starting to the left of the door here, you see these 2 grates here. Those were not there originally. Those were put in about 15-20 years ago or so. We had a replacement refrigerator put in. So unfortunately, they had to kind of carve open the side of the trailer, put those grates in for increased airflow. This vent here was there originally. I believe that was an exhaust for the original refrigerator. So coming down here, we do have an access panel. This gets you access to the back side of the refrigerator in case you need to make any adjustments or check the pilot light. Usually not a whole lot needs to be done here. It's kind of just a set it and forget it deal. I can't remember the last time we've actually been in there. And then here is a door stop or door holder. It's kind of a nice feature here, of course, with built-in bumper. And then latches right into this loop here on the outside panel of the door. And what's especially nice is you can use it to hold the entire door open, or if you release these 2 latches here, try to do this one-handed, the outer door stays in place, and now you have a screen door to enjoy and get that fresh air inside the trailer. All right, continuing on the side of the trailer here, we have a 110 outlet for your convenience, located in the side of the trailer here. Use those for some awning lights or any kind of outdoor accessories you might need. These are not the original wheels that came with the trailer. Original wheels, I believe, were steel wheels, and they would have had a hubcap included on them. I'm not sure what the original design was. We misplaced those, or they were replaced or lost many decades ago. So we were running something kind of similar to what the original design might have been, but those have since been replaced with these aluminum wheels. My dad thought they might be kind of a nice visual upgrade without taking away from the appearance of the trailer too much. So we have these new 5-spoke aluminum wheels on here. I think they look pretty nice. And then of course just your standard trailer tire. I'm trying to remember what size these are. These look like these are 205 90/15s. So that is the current size we're running on this trailer. That's a pretty direct replacement for what was on there before. And then the suspension is just a pretty standard leaf spring with shackles there. Connecting the axle, there's this one solid axle that goes across, and then you have electronically operated drum brakes. There's an electronic servo in there that's operated by the tow vehicle, and then a pretty standard drum brake setup inside the wheel. All right, coming to behind the right side wheel here, they have a pretty good sized storage compartment. This is where we keep all of our goodies for hooking up the trailer. You've got your hoses in there, all the sewer connections, pretty much anything that you would need to hook up the trailer and enjoy it. We do have stabilizer jacks in here. So in a time before automatic leveling systems and electronic stabilizer jacks, you had basically what looked like jack stands with a screw end that you could use to adjust the height. And what you would do is place those underneath the frame. For example, those two channels here in the back of the bumper. You would lower the front end, raise the back end, put your two rear jacks in, make sure it was level side to side. And then once those were in place, you would raise the front end and put two in up front by the tongue and make sure it was level front to back. So it's a bit of a process getting it to all set in and dialed in, but if you're staying anywhere a long period of time, you definitely want those stabilizer jacks because it keeps the trailer from bouncing around and kind of levels it out for proper drainage and things like that. Some of the exterior design cues of this trailer, you'll notice there are rain gutters included pretty much every single opening and window. Those are kind of nice the way they're integrated into the side there. Up top you'll see there's a channel to add an awning. We've never had an awning installed on this trailer, but if you were to add one, that's where you would anchor it to, this little channel up here. And then of course we have the AC unit up there that was installed in the 90s. This trailer did not have obviously any kind of AC from the factory, but we'll go into more detail about that later once we go inside. We have these awesome teardrop marker lights. I think those look really cool. Can be kind of hard to find sometimes, so we do our best we can to keep those stocked up and in good shape. But yeah, those are a really cool touch to the design of the outside of the trailer. I like those. All right, coming around the back, first thing we'll cover here. On the back bumper we have, this is the release for the holding tank for the sewer. This is not the original handle. The original handle had little nubs on the side here that you would kind of latch into place to keep it from sliding out accidentally. We've had some work done because it's seized up at one point, so different style valve on there now. The rear bumper, and you'll notice, I think it's still on there, maybe on the tongue too, there are built-in bubble levels for when you're setting up the trailer with those stabilizer jacks that I mentioned earlier, or making sure it's on a level piece of land. They are since, you know, pretty badly weathered and painted over and not really usable, but it was kind of a nice touch back in the day that they included those. Of course, have the Airstream plaque on the back here. These are not the original taillights. The originals were pretty badly sun faded and starting to crack, so I believe these are actually off of a school bus, but they fit the exact same opening and do the same job. Still look pretty cool and kind of complement the character of the trailer itself. Coming around the street side or the left side of the trailer, you see we still have those teardrop marker lights, red in the rear, amber in the front. This is our 110 electrical outlet. I believe it's just a 15 amp service. And then underneath here, it's kind of neat. My dad installed this many years ago. The holding tank by that valve I showed you is where it dumps out. So you have the one opening all the way on the curb side of the trailer. So instead of crawling underneath there and connecting the hose all the time, he actually came up with a setup with a PVC pipe and an elbow, and then this release on the side of the trailer to make it a little easier to hook up the hose, kind of make it like modern trailers. I think most of them have this kind of setup nowadays, so a little something he added to kind of make it a little easier to set up. And here we have the hot water heater. Let's see if I can pop this cover off real quick. Not much going on in here. You have your control panel on the left. This is the original hot water heater. So your temperature adjustment, I believe this is for the gas flow, and it activates the pilot light, and then this is what you use to actually light the pilot. And then you would stick a barbecue lighter down inside there where the entrance is for the propane, and then you use that to light. Kind of tricky to do on a windy day, but puts out pretty good hot water when it is working right. As we go back towards the front of the trailer, not a whole lot to see on this side. This is an exhaust duct for the furnace that's inside the trailer. We don't use that anymore. It's not very efficient. It's kind of, I think it was gas burning. So there's a lot safer ways to do it nowadays, but I'll show that once we get inside. And then we have another exhaust pipe up there. Not sure if that one's for sewer or for the furnace itself. I'd have to check to see where that's routed. But anyway, as we come around the side here, this is our new water inlet. The freshwater holding tank was replaced a few years ago, and for some reason they weren't able to tap into the original one up at the front corner there. So they had to, again, retrofit, drill a hole in the side and add this new setup here. So kind of a bummer, but you want to keep using the old stuff like this. Unfortunately, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And then coming around the tongue here, decent amount going on. You have a pretty standard ball receiver here with a lock. Then you have your manual crank up and down, right clockwise to go up, counterclockwise to bring the tongue down. And then the trailer did not originally come with this, but we have upgraded it to a 7-pin electrical connector, which you'll find on pretty much all tow vehicles nowadays. Here is our emergency brake. Basically what happens is you tie this cable to the tow vehicle back by the hitch, and in the event of a breakaway, they call it, it would tug on that cable, pull it out of this box, which is connected to the battery inside the box here, and then would activate the trailer brakes to keep it from going out of control. Coming up here, we have our 2 propane tanks. This is used for the refrigerator, hot water heater, and the stove, so they come in handy. I believe you use one tank or the other. I don't think you can use both tanks. I could be wrong. But usually what happens is you load them both up, run off of one tank for a while. I think it lasts several weeks, and then you can switch over to the second tank. And then we have a regulator here. I think that's supposed to show you if one of them is starting to run low, in which case you can use that collar here to switch over to the other one. And of course our battery box that houses a 12-volt battery. The replacement battery, I think, came out of a forklift, and that operates some of the lighting inside, and then things like the emergency trailer brake that I showed you, and the electronics for the refrigerator. Down underneath the front of the trailer here, there's a tube to store your sewer hose. It's just kind of big and bulky and dirty. You want it out of your way, you just stuff it down the front of that tube, runs all the way to the back of the trailer. And there was a cap that goes over the front of it. We've just been using a coffee can. Funny enough, actually fits pretty well over that opening. And then you'll notice some of these little tubes hanging down here. I think there's a few more down on the side of the trailer. Those are used to drain out the various water tanks. There's one freshwater holding tank in the front of the trailer, and then your hot water heater in the back, and then a couple of low points in the system too, that you can pressurize the system, and it will blow all the water out from those various places to winterize it. Coming around the other side of the tongue, you see we have shackles here for the stabilizer bars. You can put any of these chains to adjust the height depending as needed, and then little C clips to lock them in place. This is the original hookup for the fresh water into the water holding tank, with a pressure release on the side there that you can use to blow the system out in the winter. And then right here is this is kind of neat. I've never seen this in action before, but we have everything to make it work. Is the hookup for the TV antenna, and I don't think you can use it anymore nowadays because they shut off all the over-the-air broadcasts. But we have the antenna would insert into this tube. I think it sits above, would project up above the trailer to get good coverage, and then you have a cable that would come down, plug into this receptacle here, and then there's another receptacle inside that I'll show you. So kind of a neat setup back in the day when they used over-the-air television. And coming back around to the door, there's those teardrop lights again. See the amber ones on the front. And one's got a little bit of water in it, not the greatest, but not a lot of weather sealing on those. And then this is our all of our Plaques. This model of trailer is a 1959 Tradewind. All of them were 24 feet long. And then I believe the Land Yacht was a trim level of each trailer back in the day. So you'd have kind of like a base model, I forget what they called that one. The Land Yacht would be like the next step up. I think that included things like the holding tank in the rear and the battery box in the front. And then there was either, I forget if it was International or Traveler, but there's another trim level above that would have some additional equipment. So very cool artwork. Kind of cool to see these Plaques untouched on the side of the trailer. And then of course all your identification information, serial number, things like that. Alright, as we come around to the door, one of the last things I'll cover outside here is the folding step. This just kind of drops into place on a track underneath the trailer here. To stow it, you just kind of pull up, slide it into place, and that latches. And then if you want to pull it down, pull the door open to do this. Pull this release here, and there you have it. Nice sturdy step to help you up into the trailer.